My twin brother, I was 17 years old. And I'll skip right to it, I know for the sake of time. I was 17 years old and I have an identical twin brother. My twin brother was my producer. We used to break dance together in junior high. He was my identical twin brother. We were born together. We did everything together. He was more to me than a best friend could ever be to anybody. Because we were born together. We looked identical. But when we were 17 years old, one night my twin brother called me up and was like, hey man, it's Easter weekend. We don't have school over here in Houston. At the time I was living in Alvin with my dad. And my twin brother called me up and was like, hey man, I want to come kick it with y'all. And I told him, I was like, look, I got school tomorrow, I got tests. And we ended up arguing and I hung up. I turned my phone off. Well, that night, my twin brother, his name's Andrew, he didn't have anything to do that night. And so he called up some gang members, people that he used to sell drugs with too, on the south side of town. And he got picked up. Some of the gang, one of the gang leaders at the time picked up my twin brother. They went to 3 keg parties. They were drinking all night long, having fun. To them, they weren't robbing any banks, they weren't killing anybody, they weren't breaking any laws. All they were doing was hanging out, chilling, drinking, having a good time. Well, the next morning, my twin brother decides that he wants to go fishing in Texas City. So he gets back to his house. He gets my cousin's car keys off the dresser without asking him his permission, and he jumps in the car and takes off to Texas City. They stopped by the store, picked up another, I think it was like another 18 pack, they picked up some more beer. By the time they got to Texas City, they're out there fishing and stuff. And my brother starts crying, he starts to break down and gets real depressed. Because alcohol is a depressant, it's a drug. My brother got real depressed, started crying and stuff. My homeboy at the time was like, look, what's up man, let me know. You wanted to come out here to get away? You're upset, tell me what's up. And see, my mom had just passed away 7 months before that day. We had to watch our mom die in front of us. We were 16 years old. And my twin brother was hurt, crushed. And in the middle of that story, they decided to pack up and they were saying, let's just head up. Let's go back to Houston. On the way back home, they weren't wearing their seatbelts. My brother was driving real fast. They were on this street in Texas City called Skyline Drive. And it's at the top of this hill. When it came time for my brother to turn, the car fishtailed. He slammed on the brakes, but it was like fishtailing, sliding, and it slammed into the rail. The car flipped over the rail and started rolling down the hill. My brother was ejected from the vehicle after the 4th roll. He was thrown out of the car rolled over him and crushed him. By the time the ambulance got there, about 30, 45 minutes later, my twin brother was dead on the scene. 17 years old. We had made plans to do everything together, music, become famous and all that stuff. But one decision that he made, that one decision to drink and drive, altered and changed my whole family's life. And not only my family, but our friends. Everybody that was in high school, middle school, that knew me and my brother knew that we were cool people. We give respect to people, and we got respect back. There were so many people that were young people, your age, my age, that were heartbroken because they say, why did the good ones always gotta go? But it doesn't matter how bad you are or how good you are. What matters is the decision that you make. How are you gonna live your life? If my brother wouldn't have decided to drink and drive, he'd probably still be here today. But he made that decision. Just like you have a decision to make. When you leave this place tonight, when you walk out the doors and you go home, how are you going to live your lifestyle? Are you going to make that choice to drink, or drive, or do drugs, or smoke, or sell drugs, or whatever? Just know that there's a consequence. And you know what? God has a plan and a purpose for your life. Because even though my twin brother passed away, and even though it hurts me to this day, because when I look in the mirror, I see his face. I want you to know that God is glorified because now I'm able to share this testimony and impact the lives of people wherever I go. And God gets the glory. Give God a hand clap of praise for it.